I still remember the smell of the hospital that day. That sterile blend of antiseptic and despair. My father was lying in the bed, tubes running into his arms, monitors whispering that thin mechanical song that makes you feel both comforted and terrified. Mom was sitting beside him, her hands trembling slightly as she scrolled through her phone. I had just gotten off a 12-hour shift at the diner. My uniform smelled like burnt oil and coffee grounds, but none of that mattered. My dad's hospital bill did. When Mom told me that they were struggling to cover the costs, I didn't even hesitate. I had $2,800 saved. It was everything I had, months of double shifts, skipped meals, late rent. I didn't even blink before I transferred it to her. She cried over the phone, told me I was the heart of the family. I remember smiling through my exhaustion, thinking that finally, I was doing something that mattered. A week later, Dad was discharged. He seemed fine. He even joked that I should start saving for a real vacation instead of worrying about old men and their cholesterol. I laughed with him, not realizing the irony in his voice. I thought it was love. I thought it was gratitude. But love, as I would learn, is a word that can rot from the inside out. It started small. My younger sister, Chloe, posted something on her Instagram story, a photo of the ocean, blue and wide. The caption read, "Family trip." So grateful for these moments. I didn't think much of it at first. Maybe it was an old picture. Maybe she meant some kind of day trip. But then I saw another post. My parents. Matching outfits. Tropical drinks in their hands. My dad's tan already setting in. Family cruise. Memories for life. I froze. I scrolled again, my fingers trembling. Everyone was there. Mom, Dad, Chloe, even my brother Mark, who hadn't spoken to me in months because I refused to co-sign a car loan. Everyone except me. I stared at the photo for so long that my vision blurred, and I could feel my chest tightening as if someone had reached in and squeezed my lungs shut. At first, I told myself there had to be an explanation. Maybe they got a great deal. Maybe they planned it long before the hospital scare. Maybe the timing was just cruel coincidence. So I called Mom. She didn't answer. I called again. Nothing. Finally, I texted her, "Hey, are you guys on a cruise? Is Dad okay?" 2 hours later, she replied, "Yes, sweetie, he's fine. We needed to unwind. You know how stressful it's been. Don't be upset, okay? We'll talk when we're back." I sat there, staring at the message. My hands were shaking so badly I dropped my phone. My stomach churned. I had given them my savings, everything I had, and they used it to fund a luxury vacation. Without me. I felt like the floor beneath me cracked open, swallowing every memory of love and trust one had for them. For days, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I went to work with hollow eyes, forcing smiles at customers who left dollar tips. The world felt different now, colder, smaller. Every text from Mom was another twist of the knife. Pictures kept coming. Laughter. Sunsets. Family dinners on the ship. I was the ghost left behind. When they returned, I waited. I didn't text. I didn't call. I wanted to see what they would say when they saw me. I imagined an apology, maybe even guilt in their eyes. But when I walked into their house the next Sunday, they were sitting at the table like nothing happened. My dad smiled, waved me over, offered me coffee. "So," I said, forcing calm into my voice, "how was the cruise?" Mom looked up, startled for a second. "Oh, honey, it was wonderful. You should have come." I blinked. I wasn't invited. She laughed nervously. "Oh, we didn't want to bother you. You're always working, and we figured you'd say no anyway." My throat burned. "I gave you money for Dad's medical bills. You used that for a cruise?" Dad frowned. Hey now, don't start. We deserved a break after everything. Don't make this about money. That was it. That sentence snapped something inside me. Don't make this about money. As if I hadn't bled for that money. As if the endless nights, the aching feet, the tears cried into greasy uniforms were worthless. I left without another word. I walked out of that house and into the rain, letting it soak through my clothes, letting it wash away the last bit of the daughter who believed her parents loved her unconditionally. Over the next few weeks, I stopped visiting. I stopped calling. I didn't send birthday cards. I didn't answer their texts. I poured all my energy into myself. Therapy. Night classes. A better job. Every ounce of pain they gave me became fuel. I told myself that revenge didn't always have to be loud, it could be quiet. It could look like thriving. But fate wasn't done yet. A year later, my mom called again. This time, she was crying. Natasha, we're in trouble. Your dad's surgery, insurance won't cover everything. We just need a little help. Please, honey. The irony made me laugh out loud. I could hear the shock in her silence. You know what's funny, Mom? I said softly. When I needed family, you took a cruise. Natasha, please, she whispered, her voice trembling. Don't do this. But I did. I told her no. For the first time in my life, I told her no. I hung up and sat in the dark, shaking, not with guilt, but with clarity. I had finally seen them for what they were, people who loved convenience, not commitment. They loved what I gave, not who I was. Months passed. I focused on me. I got promoted. I moved into a small apartment with a balcony that overlooked the city lights. Sometimes I'd sit there at night, sipping tea, remembering the girl who once gave everything for the illusion of love. Then one day, a letter arrived. Handwritten. From my mother. It was short. We sold the house. Dad's health isn't good. We wanted you to know. We love you. I read it once, folded it neatly, and placed it in a drawer. I didn't respond. Because love isn't words. It's actions. And theirs spoke louder than any apology could. But here's where fate added its final twist. A few months later, my cousin, one of the few who still spoke to me, told me something. You know your parents' cruise? They bragged about it at every family gathering. But now? Everyone knows what they did with your money. No one respects them anymore. They lost their church friends, their reputation. People whisper when they walk by. For a moment, I didn't know how to feel. Pity? Satisfaction? Both? I looked out the window, watching the city pulse beneath me, and whispered, justice doesn't always need a witness. That night, I opened my laptop and saw a photo memory pop up, Dad in his hospital bed, smiling, holding my hand. For a second, tears blurred my vision again. I whispered, I loved you. I really did. But then I remembered the cruise. The laughter. The betrayal. The way they made me feel invisible. And for the first time in years, I didn't cry. I closed the laptop, turned off the light, and let the silence hug me like peace. Because sometimes revenge isn't about making them hurt. It's about finally walking away from the fire you used to die in, and realizing you're the only one who ever burned for love that wasn't real. And that, I think, was the real justice.